morning. All right, I need one volunteer who knows how to play the game tag to come sit right next to me. Anybody know how to play tag? Do you want to come sit next to me? All right, and this is Lula, right? All right, so Lula is you're gonna play tag with me. So we're gonna play a game of tag this morning, but this game of tag's a little bit different. The only two people who are playing are me and Lula. And Lula, we cannot get up and run. We have to sit right where we are while we're playing tag, okay? The other rule of this game is that whenever you tag me, you have to say, tag, you're it. You ready? I'm gonna start. I'll be it first. Tag, you're it. 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 Okay, I think you won. All right, that was a good game. Thank you very much for helping me play that. What do you guys think about that game of tag? Do you think that was fun?
It wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair? How is it not fair?
Because you can't run.
Because you can't run? You have to get tagged, don't you? Like, basically the way I set this game up is you have to get tagged, right?
Or you can just go. Or scoot.
Well, I think I'd still be able to reach her, even if you want to try like scooting a little bit? Do you think I can still reach you? Tag, you're it. Yep. See, I'd still be able to reach her. But so, what did we do when the two of us played tag? What did we do?
Tag you and you tag me.
Yeah, you tagged me, I tagged you, you tagged me. We just tagged each other back and forth, and it went back and forth, didn't it? Yeah, and so while we were playing this game, I want you to keep that in mind about how when we just played this two-person game of tag, how it just went back and forth as we talk about what happened in our gospel reading today. So in today's story, we hear Jesus is teaching his disciples how to respond to people that his disciples think are their enemies. Maybe these are people who are mean or rude or who just seem dangerous to them. And so the lessons that Jesus gives the disciples today are very difficult things to do or even to think about, even for us today. So today we hear Jesus tell the disciples that they need to love their enemies. That can be a tough thing to do. Not only that, but Jesus also says that we should not judge our enemies, which is even harder to do, I think. And then Jesus also tells them that if somebody steals something from you, that you should just give them all of your things. Not just the stuff that they took from you, but the rest of your stuff too. And then finally, Jesus tells them that if you're in a two-person game of tag, that you should not tag the other person back. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that last thing. But he did say all the other things. And so in a game of tag with two people, like with Lula and me, what does the person who's it, what do they want to do to the other person? They want to tag them, right? Exactly. And then when the other person becomes the new it person, what do they want to do to the other person?
Tag.
They want to tag the other person back. You're right. He's like, why are you asking this question? It's so obvious. Yeah, you're right. You want to tag. You want to tag the other person. And then it goes, if we kept playing that game, do you think it would go on forever? Yeah, it could easily go on forever where we just get back at each other over and over again. And so when people do things to us in real life that we may think seem unfair or are mean or even hurt us, we often want to do what we just did in that game of tag where we try to get the other person back the same way that they got us or maybe even worse. And so Jesus today, though, offers us a different option. Jesus invites us to follow him and the example that he sets, where Jesus invites us to learn how God's love, healing, and mercy work, which is very different than how the rest of the world expects things to work. Today, we're challenged to give even those who are being unfair or mean or hurt us love, which is hard. But if we can do that, even if we can do that every once in a while, then those silly games of back and forth where we try to get back at somebody else who got us, kind of like in our game of tag, it stops that game right in its tracks. Because if we try to tag somebody else and they want to tag us back, if we stop tagging them back and say, hey, it's okay, you can tag me, it kind of stops the game, doesn't it? And the same thing is true in our lives. If somebody's being mean to us, all of us feel like we want to be mean back to that person. But if we stop and we decide not to be mean and we decide to give love to them instead, then that cycle of just being mean back and forth to each other stops right in its tracks. And we get to then show how God's love works in our world, which is a pretty neat thing to think about. It's very hard to do, but it's something that we're all called to try to do. So if we're able to stop these nasty cycles of getting even with others, then we have a really good chance to see a little bit of God's kingdom here on earth with us. And that is our good news today. And with that, I'd love for you to repeat after me in prayer and invite the congregation to join as well. Dear God, thank you for Jesus and for the hard things that we learned from him. Please help us to do our best to stop the cycle of hate, and by being mean to each other, and instead share your love, even to people we may think are our enemies. We love you. Amen. All right. Thanks for coming up, everybody. And thanks for playing tag with me, Lula. I appreciate it.